And they had no idea of the interpretation of the dream. What is God doing? He made Joseph a promise that one day he would be a leader. So I came to tell somebody that it was God that gave Pharaoh the dream. Are y'all praying with me? It was God that confounded the minds of the magicians. It was God that confounded the minds of the wise men. But then, after they couldn't answer, the baker said, wait a minute. 2 years ago, me and the butler was in prison, and I had a dream, and the butler had a dream, and there was a man in prison that was able to interpret our dream. He told the butler that he was going to be killed. And he told me I was going to be restored. And he told me that whenever I was restored, don't forget him. And so, Pharaoh, I got a confession to make. I've been negligent. For the last 2 years, I forgot all about this man. But if you call him, he'll interpret your dream. Look at God. God, watch this. God gave Pharaoh the dream. He confounded the minds of the magicians and the wise men. And now he's bringing to the mind of the baker. And he's causing the baker to remember Joseph. Now that's the story. But I want you to see the hand of God. Don't get so caught up in the story because you'll miss God moving in Joseph's behalf. Are y'all praying with me? I came to tell somebody that even Joseph's gifts of prosperity was given by God. When he was with Pharaoh, everything he did. I mean, when he was with, I forget his name, I just said it. Potiphar. When he was at Potiphar's house, everything he did prospered. When he was in prison, the prison prospered. When he was in prison, God gave him wisdom to interpret the dream. Now, watch this. Though a slave, he used his gift. Though a prisoner, he used his gift. The Bible said that your will make a way for you. Huh? So he used his gift. The baker remembered, told Pharaoh. Pharaoh said, bring him to me. Are you praying with me? I came to tell somebody that oftentimes in life that you may get complex. Come on, help me somebody. You may get complex about your financial situation. But Pharaoh is a good model. Because Pharaoh contacted the magicians, which was their department to interpret dreams. he contacted the wise men. It was their department to, are y'all praying with me? To interpret dreams. He realized that he needed somebody that was smarter than him. So he went on a search to get his perplexity straightened out. How often do we rely on ourselves? Y'all ain't gonna pray with me. How often do we rely on ourselves to fix our own perplexity instead of seeking help? Huh? And although the ones that he called couldn't help him, but he was connected with somebody who knew somebody that could help him. But Pharaoh had to go on a search first. Are y'all praying with me? And so I want to say, oftentimes you are perplexed, but you don't have to go through the middleman. Come on, help me somebody. Because when Jesus died on Calvary, the Bible said that it got dark. But not only did it get dark, but the earth quaked. And then when the earth quaked, the Bible said although the priest was in the temple serving, the middle wall of partition tore in half. And now you got clear access. Now those on the outside can see what's going on the inside. And from that point on, they didn't need the high priest to go into the holies of holies no more. Because what Jesus did on Calvary's cross opened the door for you to go to God for yourself. Are y'all praying with me? Pharaoh was perplexed. He brought him into his presence. Number two, Joseph gave him a proposal. Write down proposal. What happened? When they brought Joseph out of prison, he went and shaved and changed clothes and prepared himself to go before the king. I want to tell somebody, you got to prepare yourself to go before God. You don't just go before God any kind of way. You went out last night smoking and drinking and having sex if you got lucky. Come home, didn't even take a bath. Put on some clothes and ran to church. Stinking and nasty, unconfessed sins, spiritual and nasty too. When you come before God, first thing you need to do is take a bath. Y'all ain't gonna pray with me. Next thing you need to put on some clean clothes. Because you're not just coming before anybody. Now, if you dress up to go to a wedding, why can't you dress up to come before God? If you come to God all loose, now you got good clothes in the closet. I'm not talking about those who don't have clothes. I'm talking about the who got them. The most holy thing, the greatest thing that you can ever do is to come into the presence of God in the time of praise and worship. That's right. And you ought to come prepared. You should not have your boobs hanging out at the church. We should not be able to see every curve in your body when you come to church because we didn't come to see you. We should not be able to see your prints because we didn't come to see you. That is not the time to be distracting. You ought not look. You ought not dress like that. Present yourself like you coming before God, not like some hoe. Coming to church looking hoish. What's wrong with that? The Bible said, till the elder women teach the young women how to dress modest. Now, modest ain't all this stuff hanging out.
That's what the word say, Doc. That's what the word say. Thus say the Lord. Thus say the Lord.
But I'm sad to say that the elder women, if they teach it, they be hypocrites.
My Lord. Preaching here today, Doc.
Joseph prepared himself before he went before the king. Just like you ought to prepare yourself before you come before the Lord. Are y'all praying with me? Y'all got mad last Sunday. Y'all sure enough gonna be mad this Sunday. I don't care about you getting mad. I love you though. That's why I tell you the truth. Huh? If I didn't love you, I wouldn't say it, but I love you. I'm talking about stuff that'll help you with your relationship with the Lord.
That's right, Doc. That's right.
Huh? Let's see. Is Mother Junior here? Maddie? Let's see who was here. But Brother Coleman, he was here. I told Friendship before I became pastor. Sister, she was here, Sister Pryor. I said, look, I promise y'all, this is my promise of Friendship. I promise y'all, I will never preach at you. I promise y'all that, didn't I? I said, but every Sunday I'm going to be preaching to you. And if I miss you this Sunday, wait next Sunday. I think Sister Barbara, I think you was here too, weren't you? Look, I said, why would I preach something that don't affect nobody in the church, but you came to church? That doesn't even make good sense. Preaching ought to affect the hearers, not those who ain't listening. Huh? And if it's in the Word, Pastor Davidson going to preach it. Even if it gets mean. How many times have y'all heard me say, I'm preaching to myself now? Huh? I don't skirt issues. It don't mean I don't love you. I do love you. I do love you. I do love you. I do love you. I'll do anything I can for you. But because I love you don't mean I'm going to skip your issue if I know you're guilty. I ain't doing that now. Y'all going to have to get mad or get glad, forgive me, or don't. Mm-hmm. Now prepare yourself before you come before the Lord, all right? Y'all going to pray with me? So he prepared himself. Now, he told Joseph his dream. He told Joseph his dream. Joseph said, both dreams are the same. Said, the 7 fat calves, the 7 fat ears of corn, represent 7 years of prosperity. The 7 skinny calves and the 7 skinny corns represent 7 years of famine. And what's going to happen is there's going to be 7 prosperous years. And then there's going to be 7 famine years. Now, what happened to the calves? The skinny calves ate up the fat calves. The skinny corn ate up the fat corn. Are y'all still with me? All right. And it says, Now, the interpretation of that is those 7 prosperous years is going to be forgotten when famine get here. In other words, the famine going to eat up the prosperous years. And so now, King, here's the proposal. The proposal is that you would get a wise man. Are y'all praying with me? And get him some officers and set them over some cities. And then, watch this, take 20%. Look at verse, you said 34. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up a fifth part. A fifth part of 100 is what? 20%. In other words, that's 20 cents out of $1. In other words, Joseph was saying, during the prosperous years, that you would save 20%. In other words, the people is going to be taxed 20%. Are y'all praying with me? They're going to be taxed 20%. And so then, but now you need to get somebody and set them over this. And then Pharaoh said, you know, he looked out among his leadership. He looked out among the wise men. And he looked out among the magicians. And he said, can y'all think of anybody wiser than this man right here to be over this business? And everybody looked at the king and says, nope. Guess what Pharaoh did? He appointed Joseph second in charge over all of Egypt. And at this time, Egypt is the world's power. So Joseph is now the second most powerful man in the world. He pulled his signet ring off and gave it to Joseph. Put his robe on Joseph. Put him in the second chariot and gave him a parade through the whole city so everybody would know that Joseph is second in charge next to me. Look at that dream being fulfilled. Look at God creating a need that can't nobody feel but Joseph. Y'all ain't praying with me. That's the way God will do you. When God has told you something, when God had given you your vision, when God has given you your purpose, although things may look dim, although things may look bad, although things may look dirty, stay faithful. Stay faithful. Joseph made a proposal. Guess where he got the proposal from? He got it from God because God gave him the gift. Got a question for you. What's your gift? What is your gift? Based upon your gift, when you seek God, God can give you a proposal. But now let's look at the plan. So we looked at the perplexity. Sometimes we're going to be perplexed in life. We don't know what to do. Then there is a proposal. He said, here's my suggestion. Here's what you do. And then next we got a plan. There's a saying that said those who plan to fail, those who fail to plan, they plan on failing. So you got to have a plan. Here's my question for you. What is your plan? And this thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said to the servant, can we find such a one as this, and the man whom the Spirit of God is? See, what made him so effective was that the Spirit of God was with him. And that's what makes you effective, is that the Spirit of God needs to be in you. Joseph was 30 years old. And not only did he make him second in charge, but he gave him a wife. And after he gave him a wife, he gave him 2 kids. And then after he gave him 2 kids, look at verse 48. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years, which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food, watch this, in the cities. In other words, if it was South Bend, whenever South Bend was taxed, they was taxed 20%, and all the corn stayed in South Bend. Then he went to Mishawaka, and all of the corn that was collected in Mishawaka stayed in Mishawaka. And in South Bend, he's had somebody over the corn to manage it. In Mishawaka, there was somebody over the corn to manage it. So you got to have, watch this, a plan. Huh? 20% stored up, and now there's an overseer watching it, making sure that everything goes okay. So included in your plan, somebody got to oversee it to make sure that everything goes well. I told y'all this is God's blueprint for financial success. Now, I talked about the plan. Now, let's look at the provider. Who's the provider in this context?